Hello, this is Ilan again, and today we are touching in probably one of the most valuable content of this course. Um, if you have reached this video, you've probably finished the first stage of my course, and that means you are very clear on where you want to go, you are very clear on how much you're willing to sacrifice. And yet you might have come across few mental blockages and mental challenges that are preventing you from taking another step and another step. And today it's all about that. One of the things that a lot of people are missing with the understanding of achieving any kind of goals that they're having is the story we are telling ourselves, the structure of our behavior based on values and beliefs. Yep, I said it. And what does that mean? We carry values, which are things that we care for, such as family is a type of a value, money is a type of value, health is a value. And each one of those values creates beliefs that we basically believe in. Those beliefs creates the story that we are telling ourselves. Our stories, and it doesn't matter if they are only based on our experience and they're true to us or they are true to anything, they are engraved within us, within our beliefs. And if we won't get to the point when we either reshuffle those values and create some new beliefs that matches the values that we are aiming to achieve, we're basically going to go back and forth, and play at the same game that we have played until now. And what does that mean? That means that the person that got us to where we are today will get us only to where we got today. This person cannot take us to the next level. This person cannot bring us to farther away of what we've achieved. This person got us only to where we can, and that's the only place we can get with this person. Yes, it evolves and it changes regularly, but in order for that to happen, we have to create new things in our mental state, not just in the behavior. So I will try to simplify it with an example. Let's say you want to lose weight. This is your goal. You want to lose weight. You want to lose 10 pounds, doesn't matter. And your perception of the body type you want to get, let's say if you lose 10 pounds, you'll perceive yourself as a skinny person or as a fit person, but you have a beliefs about those kind of people, let's say skinny people or fit people. You think that they are very self-centered and they only care about how they look, they don't care about other things, and so on and so on. For you, that would be one step forward because this is what you want to achieve. But on the other hand, it stands with another value that you have, which means self-centered. That's a bad value. You translate that as a something negative. So you cannot move towards something that you perceive as negative. So what do we do with that? How can we change that narrative, let's say? So if you think of fit people or skinny people a certain way, but at the end of the day, that's pretty much what you want to do. I think we've talked about it in the first video when we've discussed about setting goals, that a lot of people are ashamed to admit what they truly want because it's contradict with a lot of their values. I will use as my example, when I was in a journey of losing so much weight, I used to hate skinny people. I used to hate people who were working out, but I used to admire people that were healthy, or at least the way I perceived them as healthy. So I had to reshuffle my concept or the way I was thinking about skinny people or healthy people and create something that will work with what I believed in. And if I will take the story of me losing 28 kilos or 30 kilos or whatever it was many years ago, I used to think about it. That's how I shared that story many years later. I used to say, I've lost at the time. I was a fat man and I've lost so much weight. I had to change that belief, that statement into I'm actually a very well driven person who is stubborn enough to achieve what he wants as long as he knows what he wants. That's just a small example. So, how can we move forward instead of me drilling in your brain? Here is a small exercise that we can do. I'll ask you to take 10 values, just 10 of them, make a list, write them down. Take a minute, take it to stop the video right now. I will repeat a few more sentences, but in the meantime, stop the video, write down 10 values that you have. Oh, welcome back. I'm kidding. So now that you've got those 10 values, hopefully you did stop the video. Hopefully you sat down and wrote those values. Here is what I need you to do. I need you, please, to number the 10 of them. 10 is the less valuable for you. 1 is the most valuable, one that you cannot live without. And number them from 10 to 1. Once again, stop the video. Okay, hopefully you gave all the numbers down. So you have 10 values. Now you've numbered them, 1 which is most precious, 10 is less precious. And let's take a look at them. I will make a small side note. I did not ask any values that's specifically designed to weight loss or to healthy living, because we will get that in a moment. For now, let's take those 10 values. So if you are on whatever journey you have at the moment, if you struggled with your weight back and forth, gaining, losing, or if you're just struggling with losing weight or gaining weight, most likely the values that you have there, most likely the 10 values that you have there has nothing to do with that specific goal. Most likely. Now we'll go a little bit more forward. Let's stop for a moment the video before you stop. Number only 5. Take the most 5 that you've got, the first to the 5th one, put them aside in a list and bring them back again to this conversation. Let's take those 5 and ask yourself, of those values, which ones are related to your existing goal that you want to achieve? If it's a weight loss, if it's a balancing the weight, if it's living healthier, which one of those 5 are or is related? Most likely, maybe 1 or 2. I wouldn't be surprised if it's none. The values you have at the moment are, or what got you to where you are today. They are related to the story that you have told yourself until now. And they could be amazing values, whether it's family, whether it's a weekend, whether it's a socializing, money, success, whatever they are, we will need to put them aside. We will need to let them go for now because they don't serve the purpose anymore. We need new values that will serve our purpose. I'm going to ask you before you do that, but I'm going to ask you in a moment to stop the video again, because now I'm going to ask, bring to the table 5 to 8 values which are related either to healthy living or to your weight or to your lifestyle, but specifically to the concept that this video is all about. Remember, if you took my first course, it is about weight loss, healthy living, feeling more comfortable within own our skin without shame and without guilt. So bring in 5 to 8 values which are strongly related to this concept. I'm going to wait, hold the video, pause. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you have at least 5, 8 will be great. Now that we have those, let's choose 5. If you have 5, then you need to choose 3. If you have 8, then you'll choose 5. And once again, number them. 1 is the most valuable, 5th is the least valuable. But bring them in and numberize them. We need the numbers. We need to start to prioritize them. Once we have that, we can start working towards creating some beliefs among those values. And nothing is better than a great example. So let's say I have healthy living for me is the top notch value. It's the most important thing in my life. What I define as healthy doesn't necessarily mean defined by others. I do care what I define something, and I do care what I define something. And if I did not say it enough, I do care what I define something. So for me, healthy living means the perfect balance between my mental state, my emotional state, my physical state. That's for me healthy living. So anything that I do, anything that I believe that I will do or won't do, has to be related to those three. I believe that by running, I help to maintain a balance between my mental health, my physical health, and my emotional health. But I also believe that if I am exhausted and I cannot move at the end of the day and I didn't run the whole day, I know that this specific run is going to do exactly the opposite, which will not serve my purpose as being healthy. So for me, whatever I believe I'm going to do or not do has to maintain the criteria of balance between my mental, emotional, and physical health. And that's just one example. I truly believe that a person who does not think healthy could not live healthy. So for me, if I judge myself in a way that doesn't serve my purpose, that means I create a new discomfort within my body, within my emotions, or within my mental state that doesn't serve my purpose. So I've used enough of my examples. Now let's try and help you to create some new beliefs. Let's say you took five five new values, and you've written weight, you've written balance, you've written plant-based or veganism, just for the example. And let's say you chose freedom, which for you is part of health. And let's say one more that you chose active. Okay. Before we run and sign up to a gym membership, before we go to the grocery store and we buy tons of fruit and veggies because we're vegans, before we do all these things, now we need to observe. And I like that part because one of the beautiful things about this program that it forces you to do some self-reflection. You have to stop, think, feel something before you jump forward. And you have to remember, this is everything we're doing. This is before we even reach to the point when we create ourselves a nice, I like to call it a mantra, something that can push me forward towards you. But I'm giving you a little bit of everything to kind of get to organize it at the end. And you will have a presentation attached to this video that it will help you to organize it more. Okay. So let's say the first value you have was freedom. Write down or observe yourself for a week on what are the things on the day-to-day living that you're doing makes you feel more free or freedom. For example, let's say the days that you can come back to a home from work, let's say instead of at 5 at 4:30 because you were driving, gave you a sense of freedom. The day that you were able to eat tofu instead of cucumber made you feel a sense of freedom. The day that you didn't have to think about what you're going to eat or drink, you felt free. Those kind of things has to be acknowledged on a regular basis, because the more we acknowledge the things that push us towards our goal, the more we do them. And the more we do the things we want to achieve our goal, the closer we get to the goal. Another example that we can use, let's say, I know that I feel healthy when I run. I feel healthy when I read. I feel healthy when I teach somebody how to live healthy. This is for me the top notch. Like that's the most of the most. This is the essence of my living. When I teach someone to do something small so they can live better, I feel the healthiest of all. And yet I'm sitting, I'm not active, but that's something that makes me feel, because I share something which is for me so valuable that for me makes me feel healthy. So you're going to stop again the video and try to actually write it as a statement. I don't need you to do it now. Let's put it this way. Take the week, have a pen and paper with you, have your phone with you, and try to track things that makes you feel as close as possible towards the values you have chosen. Track yourself and write down things that makes you feel as close as possible to the values you have chosen. Now, I need you to make something like a small note. Engrave this note in your head because it's important. One of the hardest things for all of us is to unlearn something. It's very hard to think, okay, I have to erase everything I know and relearn something new. But, and that's a big but, the fact that you're going to unlearn something doesn't mean you're going to forget it. It means that you're going to restructure it. You're going to bring it back when we are ready to reuse it to serve us better. That's very, very important because we can't bring our old behaviors, our old habits, to take us to the next level. So don't be afraid to allegedly erase the values that you had until now, because they will not. They are already part of you. And if you had a value which is family and work and success and money that has nothing to do with health, you won't all of a sudden have any value to money. You won't have any value to family. You're not going to miss or lose those. They are already engraved in you, and they're probably the biggest part of your life. So no worries about losing them, about not having them. Okay, now that I covered that and I kind of helped you relax the monkey mind, as some would call it, so you can move forward to the next one. And what is moving forward? Here's what I need to do. Normally I do this step farther at the beginning. And the reason I flip it is because when I give people to shuffle a little bit, even if it's just for a moment, to shuffle their values and create some new beliefs around it, even if I just brought up some awareness to the concept, to the topic of it, it's easier to be able to understand what is it that you want. Because now if you wanted to lose weight and then all of a sudden immediately you were thinking about how much you hate fit people, then there is already something that pulls you back. Why even bother? Why do this? You're not there. Now that we know that our mind is going to trick us because of the beliefs, because of the story we have, we can create something a bit more clear. If I had to ask you now to go back to those 5 new values that you chose, okay, and you already know that you have to track about those things that makes you feel closer to those values, here is what I'd like you to try and do. Take a moment, 2 or 3 moments, to come up with a sentence that has to be spoken when you read it on a present sentence that combines those values and the way they make you feel. Meaning, so let's say, for example, I'll use my mission statement as an example instead of my previous ones that I've done. My mission statement is based on my value to help people to avoid shame. I cannot stand the fact that somebody is ashamed of their body, regardless the size, the color, and so on. I hate when people give themselves guilt for something. They ate a piece of chocolate cake, even a day after a day, and they give themselves guilt as if this is the end of the world. So for me, it's so valuable to help them take away the shame and take away the guilt, bring to the table some self-respect and so on, that I basically created a mantra that now it comes like wake me up in the middle of the night and what do you do, Ilan? Helping humans lose weight without shame, guilt, and with a lot of self-respect. That's my mission. Wake me up at any moment. That's what you'll hear. And this is what I need you to try and do. So you're going to pause the video again. Try to bring in a sentence that you can resonate with, that makes you feel something positive, something driven forward. Again, you're not going to lie to yourself. So if you can't feel anything when you write it, then we need to go back and circle again to the values again. Because if you don't feel it, if you don't manage to get yourself to that sensation of drive that you're willing to do whatever it takes, then it's pointless. It's literally pointless. You have to make sure when you speak, you feel what you're aiming to get. You have to. Without it, it's literally a waste of time. So please pause the video in a second. Make sure to come up with a good sentence that gets you to feel that feeling we're aiming to achieve. Pause. Okay. Now that you've paused and you got your sentence, let's call it a statement. Mind you, this is not going to be the last call of that statement. That means in a week or two, you will need to circle back to this video. In a week or two, you'll need to come back, kind of circle back either through your notes or listen again to this video, because you have to engrave those new values and you have to resonate with them so strong that they have to make you feel moving forward. Here's a personal note. A few months ago, I felt that I've lost my passion to my work. I felt like something is missing and I can't grab it, I can't get it, because I love what I do. How it's even possible that I will kind of lose that passion to do it? And I had to go and revalue. I had to reflect on what was going on, what is missing, what is the thing that I need to bring in to bring back that passion. And I found it. And it was you. It was literally doing this. I had to add something. I did not want to replace it, and I still don't want to replace it. I had to add something to what I do, within what I do, so I can feel that. And it goes the same way. So we're not going to take your values away. We're going to add new things, and we'll bring back the other ones when we are ready. So make sure you feel that statement you have created. Now that you have that statement, here is our next homework. So you have, let's say, 3 to 5 values that you brought into the table. I need you to track yourself down for each one of those values. For each one of those values, I need you, please, to have 5 things that made you feel close to that value. So if, let's say, vegan is a value for you, every time I eat an apple instead of an egg, I feel so much better. I feel more vegan. I don't know. Every time I do A that relates to that value, I feel that. So basically, the statement that you want to create is something that could stand something. Let's say you had vegan, you had weight, you had healthy, and vegan, health, wealth, healthy. Yes, that's what I said. I feel every time I eat a vegan meal or a plant-based meal, I feel so much healthier, and it helps me feel that I'm losing weight. It's an awkward sentence, but obviously you don't need to resonate with this sentence, but I gave you an example of how to create something. It has to be present, has to be now, has to match that you feel it. Feel what you're saying. Now that you have that, this statement should be circle and match to your first video we did, if you remember, which was creating that goal. This is the mission statement of that goal. So if you take, for example, a business, every business has a goal. They want to serve something, and then they have a mission statement to match that goal. This is the same thing right here. So you had a goal. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to lose 5 pounds. I want to gain 25 pounds. The mission statement has to match to that goal. Example, every time I go and lift weights, I feel that I'm gaining more weight. I feel stronger. So this matches the person who wants to gain 25 pounds. Every time I go for a long walk with my dog, I feel that I am much lighter, and it gets me feel as if I'm losing weight as I do it. Every time I eat a salad, every time I do this, I feel that. Every time I do this, I feel this. Those 2 things, the more you have, the more behaviors, the more actions you take that makes you feel, in a way, you want to bring them and you want to acknowledge them. It's like affirmation, but it's not positive thinking. That's nothing to do with that. This is literally doing an action that make you feel something, have awareness, bring them together. I will use another example of myself. Many, 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 many years ago, I used to smoke. I used to struggle with smoking. I used to struggle with set myself free. And looking backward, one of the things that I remember is, if we're talking about taking the guilt away, because smokers have guilt. Yeah, I don't care who says what, but they all have some guilt on some level. Doesn't always come at the same time, sometimes more, sometimes less, but they all have it. Anyway, one of the things that I've noticed was every time I was eating a very, very healthy meal, and for me, very, very healthy meal, it means 85% of that meal was vegetables and salads. That's basically what it was. And every time I did that, I felt healthier. It makes me feel healthier and healthier. And the healthier I felt, the less I wanted to smoke. And the magic happened, and thanks to a book that I was reading regarding that. So if you're a smoker, that book is a great book. It's called The Easy Way to Quit Smoking by Alan Carr. But the beauty of it, by thinking the way I did, by doing things that make me feel more healthy while I was still smoking many, 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 many years ago, one of the things that I was noticing is I started to do more things that make me feel healthier. It reached to the point, and that was the breaking point, when I wanted the freedom of smoking more than I wanted the smoking, I actually became free of it. And that was it. Now it just became a story from a book on a person that I barely even know. But that is something that this is what I'm hoping to serve here. I'm hoping to get you to a point that the goal you're having, whatever it is regarding your weight, your feeling on the weight, and so on, has to be that you want it more, more than staying where you are. But it's that desire has to be created. It's not something that you say, oh, I want to have six packs. That's not enough. If you didn't have six packs until now, you're not going to have them with the same behavior. But to get to that point, people think it's just eating, blah, blah. It's not, because it has to be engraved so hard that the behavior towards it becomes much doable, much more easy. And it's a process and it's a journey, and it's not going to happen overnight, even when you set your mind free. And I'm going to summarize this video by saying, when somebody tells you, set your mind and you can do it, what they don't understand that even setting your mind takes time. Even setting the mind to create a decision that you so strongly desire takes time, because that set of mind is based on so many values and beliefs that you've carried until now that you have to reshuffle and rearrange and create new ones. And that by itself is a journey. So it doesn't matter at the moment if you're focusing on your menu or on your workout routine, you can do them at the same time. But if you will not go deep, strong, grrr, inside the brain and reshuffle everything, then whatever you do is going to go back, as I said at the beginning of the video, back and forth, yo-yo diet, and so on and so on. So, set your mind is a journey, is a process. You have all the tools that you need to set them. I'll rephrase it. You have most of the tools that you need. Just make sure to open the presentation that will follow this one to get some more help how to create it. Within the presentation, I have given you the option to create the mission statement whenever you're ready. And yes, I call it a mission statement because this is a mission not just for me, it should be your mission as well. So whatever you're choosing, make sure that you're resonating with it, that you feel connected, and don't bullshit yourself. That's one promise I'm going to ask you to make for yourself. Do not bullshit yourself. You must learn to distinguish when you're using your excuses for one thing or another. And I promise you, those excuses are always related to some belief and value that you have. So there is nothing wrong with them. Just go back, find that value that holds you back because you think it's more important than your goal, and just put it aside for now. Bring a new value, make that goal more important than that value that holds you back, and then you can bring it back. So don't be afraid to create the change. Don't be afraid to make that change. And remember, it's going to take time. So do not let your fear stop you. Let your fear push you, bring it to the table, and work it with you. Thank you so much. Hope you liked it. Do the homework. This is the work. Please do not skip stages. Do the work. See you in the next one.